What's up? It's alertwolf here to bring you another review. And this review is going to be of Blast of Tempest, episode 12, and this one is called Absent Thee from Felicity a While. Alright, so Absent Thee from Felicity a While. And basically, a couple of things before it starts off with them talking about about her trying to find a way to revive herself, or not to revive herself, she's still looking for the thing. Also, the Tree of Genesis is starting to awaken, and we see the Navy start to get kind of wiped out and turn to ash, and people are panicking. And they're talking about she's saying how there's no way the Tree of Genesis would doom all living creatures and blah blah blah, and Simon is saying, you don't know that. You're blinded by your faith. What if you're wrong? Now, before I really get into the full summary of the episode and whatnot, it turns out, this whole time I thought we were only going to get 12 to 13 episodes, but I'm glad I was proven wrong. Somebody left me a comment by the name of, let's see, Stella Key. Yeah, Stella Key. And I guess she, I hope you're a she, man, I'd be stupid if you weren't. No, I'm not going to go that far. Be stupid if I was wrong, is what I was going to say. Well, the diddles. Anyway, regardless, she told me that there were going to be 24 episodes, and she's right. This is the halfway point of the show, probably, which you could almost call the end of season 1. But it is the halfway point. So that's great. There's going to be another 12 episodes of the show, and I'm looking forward to reviewing it for you guys. And I just figured I'd get that out. Basically, we get more back into the episode. So this episode, it starts out that basically logic-wise, everything's being turned on its head. Because if there isn't a mage of Exodus, then she's the one who killed the sister. I still personally think the sister was the mage of Exodus, but whatever. Time will tell if I'm right on that theory. And basically, Simon, by trying to bring about its resurrection, is responsible for his sister's death just as much as everybody else. So, and it's not the Tree of Genesis. So it's Simon's fault, indirectly. And that means Mahiro will turn his weapon on him, and there's all sorts of crazy stuff. But Mahiro, and Simon feels like he lost. And in his head he's going, Princess has 1, 2, maybe 1, and he's like, no, 1 hour to find what I left her for an offering. There's no way, hopefully the Exodus tree will be revived. But again, at the same time, the Tree of Genesis has been revived, is reviving itself. Even though the princess is supposed to be the one supposedly that gives the approval to revive it properly, it senses the waking up of Exodus and is prematurely waking up itself and attacking everywhere. Now the thing is, we also get June and the spear user and Evangeline, and they're together and they're trying to make sense of what's going on. Sorry, I'm a little tired. It's like 2 something in the morning. But anyway. And basically, Mahiro doesn't like how neatly this works out in Hagasei's favor, the princess there. And he's like, this is too convenient. You know, is this all the work of Genesis? So there's a large bit of back and forth. And even Hagasei doubts that her own story. Like, she could, you know, she's starting to question, was it the Tree of Genesis that had his sister killed? Was it the other tree? Was, you know, and it almost doubts her fate for a second, but she's like, no. If it was the Tree of Genesis, how come it's taking me so long? And there's this to find the offering. And Yoshino thinks the same thing. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a jet drops off a missile in front of her barrel. And she's like, this is way too convenient, but whatever, we're going to do it. Because if I am responsible, I have to face him anyway. I can't doubt my resolve now. So she tells Yoshino to put the doll around her skeleton. And bam, she makes the offering of the missile. She says a little prayer / spell. And she transports through time and rematerializes on the other side, leaving just her skeleton behind on the beach, along with her clothing, to prove, you know, to the time paradox. It's not a time paradox because she left her skeleton there. It's sort of a time paradox, but whatever. So then she rematerializes naked, I might add. And she immediately takes control of the clan. Because listen again, Samon is not a villain. I keep saying this every week, but he's not a villain. There is no villain in this series, right? It's just a question of who's right and who's wrong. And he's afraid of the princess. You know, she's the most powerful. It's her job to bring about Armageddon one way or the other. You know, and it's just crazy. So, what goes on here is now the tree is waking up all over the world and it's attacking the barrier. And they have precious little time. And the reason why it's attacking the barrier, it's going to get at the other tree. Now, it takes down the barrier easily, and June tells them they can't believe the barrier went down so fast. So he's like, I don't know why you're surprised. The barrier was made with the magic from the Tree of Genesis. But without the shield holding back the Tree of Exodus, the clan loses control over Exodus. Now, apparently, the one guy dies, the guy who's been running the show from underground. But I don't buy he's dead. I mean, these guys are magic users. That all their magic is defensive magic. So I don't buy he's dead. But whatever. Because rocks fell on him. And then the trees start battling each other. The trees just straight up start battling each other. And at first it looks like the Exodus tree is winning. Starts breaking some of the... Now, the Tree of Genesis is like a bunch of roots, right? The Tree of Exodus is an actual tree with like fruit hanging from it or flying from it, and it drains the power from the fruit and starts attacking. And it breaks some of the... It uses energy discs like saws to cut the roots from the Tree of Genesis. And when something from the tree of Genesis breaks, its energy releases blue. If something from the tree of Exodus breaks, it's red. So, you know, the opposing colors. And then, as the fight continues, we get more of June and the three, and he's like, put up your defensive magic now, because an energy blast from just shockwaves from the battles of the trees, of the titans of this world, is, you know, powerful enough. And the spear user is using his defensive magic, and then June disappears. She's like, where did he go, Evangeline? He's like, he does that, because, you know, he's a Jedi, whatever. He just bounces. And he goes, but you know, as this is going on, they're getting buffeted a lot, and it's getting dangerous. And so he goes, by the way, my name is, and he tells her his name, and she's like, you know, if we survive this, you and I have a lot to talk about, because they completely dig each other. You know, some couples, they need to fight. They got, or athletic competition is what does it for some people. They got into that serious fight, and then he healed her, and she kind of fell for him. She did. And honestly, she's hot, so you kind of felt the same way. So there you go. A little romance there. I like it. I do. But the battle's getting serious. I mean, the roots counterattack the tree of Exodus, and then the Exodus tree starts being ripped apart, and then the Genesis tree absorbs the Exodus tree. At the same time, the roots are everywhere and across the entire planet, and it's devouring civilization as it goes. Not only that, but anybody killed by the tree of Exodus, when the tree of Genesis comes through, gets absorbed. Like, all the iron stuff gets absorbed. So, that makes you wonder, even though they're fighting each other, are they designed to work together? You know? Like in nature, you know, there's a symbiosis there. I don't know. But, so at this point, Hagase takes control. She's like, listen, Simone, we need to reinforce the barrier. This is what we're going to do. We're going to rebuild the barrier that was around the tree of Exodus. I'm going to contain Exodus, and simultaneously, I am going to calm down the tree of Genesis. And I'm by no means am I ready to throw away. I mean, we can finish our argument about this later. We just got to do good now before the world gets obliterated. And so, you know, Simon agrees. Because he can't argue this. And she asked Mishiro for the talisman that she had given him, the machine gun talisman, back. I mean, and she's like, listen, if it turns out to be me, I'll take full responsibility for it, and you can kill me yourself. He goes, stop going crazy. Hands her the gun. And by the way, there's a lot of flirting earlier than that when she first comes out between her and Yoshino. So I think she kind of digs him. She keeps calling him a villain. She finds a gun. She uses the gun as fuel for her magic later on. And, you know, there's a lot of flirting between the two of them. But this is where the shit really hits the fan, because as she's trying to move and react, they get hit hard with like a branch from, I believe, the tree of Genesis, like it was like a whipping. She puts up a shield, but it wasn't hard enough. And you know what it is? It's funny because Yoshino was about to tell her something to contradict what she was thinking, and the shield protected everybody but Yoshino, and he gets sliced through here and killed. right before everybody's eyes. Then Samon tries to stop my hero from moving because he instantly gets what's going on. And my hero moves, and a tree branch, spike thing, a stake goes right through my hero, and he falls. And in his head, he's going, just like that, when they were of no use. They were disposed of by the Tree of Genesis, just like taking out the trash. And it's freaking him out because, again, he's not a villain. I don't know how many times I'm going to say this, but he's not. So that was shocking. When I'm going to tell you, when I saw that, it blew me away. I'm like, what? They just killed Yoshino? And then a few seconds later, my hero bites the dust. And I'm like, what the... Really? And you know what? And this is before, you know, because this is right at the end of the episode. So obviously, this is before I saw that there was a next episode. Because in my head, I'm going, if they end the show right here now, you know, this is how it ends. Because, I was told about the other 24, but I hadn't confirmed it until after in my mind, I'm like, listen, I'm not going to confirm it until after I watch this episode. Because I didn't want to ruin anything for me if it was the end. But obviously it's not. But I'm like, what the hell? This is crazy. And then Hagase she sacrifices the machine gun she was going to use to make the shield better, in order to try to heal and bring back, because they're not dead yet, Yoshino. And she orders Simon to do the same thing for Mahiro. She's like, don't you let him die. I'll never forgive you if you let him die. So then he's like, I gotta do this. So, and he's still like freaking blown away about how insanely they were just taken out by the trees, yo. The trees, man. And so he sacrifices his sword, and he uses his strongest magic to try to heal him. And that is how the episode ends, with literally all our main characters are in peril. You know, our main two dudes kind of dead at the moment. The world, oh man, the world is in serious jeopardy. The two freaking trees are full-blown fighting each other, and one of the trees has the whole world like this. And I didn't mention this, but the defense guy who's been, you know, head of the government forces, he didn't think the destruction would spread beyond Japan. So the fact that it's threatening the entire planet is freaking him out. Sorry about that, but you know, it's just, this episode kind of blew me away. The next episode, let's see. The next episode is called The Reason of Dreams. Now, I'm gonna give this episode a 5 out of 5. I'm gonna say it's the best episode of the series so far. We got the return of the princess. There was a lot of intellectual stuff in the beginning. The super twisted surprise that both the main characters were taken out like that, like so easily, so fast. And the fact that you had the War of the Trees, all of that was good. And again, every character is in jeopardy. You know, you don't know what's going on. The government guy's in trouble, and so is the entire planet. The spear user and Evangeline are barely holding on. Our two main boys are pretty much dead. You know, it's just one of those things. So, 5 out of 5. Can't wait till next week's episode. So click it up if you like it, comment if you must, subscribe if you can. This is Alert Wolf signing out.